Aloha, I'm Alie James. Today is a very exciting day for me, and one reason is because I've completely finished my book, The Invisible King, and more importantly, I'm going to interview the subject of this book, His Royal Majesty, Ali'i Nui Mo'i Edmund Keli'i Silva, Jr. As you will soon find out, he is the King of Hawaii who is restoring, in fact, has restored the Kingdom of Hawai'i. As I was writing The Invisible King over the last few months, I was asked many times by my friends and family, why was I so passionate about Hawaiian independence? And not only that, how could there be a King of Hawaii and nobody knows about him? As the book suggests, the Invisible King has been among the people of Hawaii for many years, and he's becoming more visible every day to the Hawaiian people and global leaders. He's a cousin to Queen Liliu'okalani, who was the last monarch of Hawaii before the treacherous overthrow in 1893 of her kingdom. He's the Hawaiian leader that many will one day come to know and will one day sit among the leaders of the nations representing the Kingdom of Hawaii. But the question is, why am I personally so engaged in the Hawaiian sovereignty movement? Although I fully answered this in my book, I can simply say now that I truly believe Hawaii is the heartbeat of our planet. And I also believe that we're in the midst of a paradigm shift on this planet, and that Hawaii, through the leadership of King Keli'i Silva, is poised to lead the way in the transformation of the nations, from places of darkness and despair to places of light and love. We're in the midst of a political power shift. We're watching power shift from the west to the east, from nations making war with each other to nations making peace with each other. And we're not there yet. But one day, I believe we'll have leaders of the nations who truly love their people and their lands rather than exploiting them. It seems to me that Mother Earth is moving away from chaos, sickness, and disease to harmony, balance, and health. I believe it's the indigenous people all over the world that have understood that ultimately it's heavenly cycles that prevail, and that the extreme darkness that has been is now dissipating. And they, the indigenous people, are here to lead the way. They understand their ancient past, and they've kept the stories alive for us to benefit from now. These are men and women who are wise, who love the earth, who understand love. They point us to the heavens as having the answers we on earth seek. Within this transition, I have found a man that just happens to be a king, and he is willing to lead his nation back to where it once was, a healthy, peaceful, non-aligned nation of aloha. He has garnered the respect of leaders all over the world, as well as many indigenous leaders, for his wisdom and understanding of righteous leadership. I've come to know King Keli'i through his writings and through the occasional conversation. And he's a leader that I hold in high esteem, and he's here for us now, at this time, to lead us into the light. I have written this book for all of you who want to see righteousness and justice prevail in place of all the wrongs that have been committed against the Hawaiian people and their land. I'm sure you would agree it's time for a change. His Royal Majesty, who along with people all over the world, is here now to do what must be done for Hawaii as well as for the planet. Ku ika mana Hawaii nei.
Aloha, Your Majesty.
Aloha.
Thank you so much for your time today. I know
You're
that
welcome.
you've got many things going, so we'll get right to the questions. As you know, I just completed The Invisible King and made it available in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and I'm even working on a multimedia edition. And I'd love to know your overall impression of the book.
Alie, thank you for writing The Invisible King. The Hawaiians call this the olelo. It talks about a story, or the olelo. And when I read your book, it honored the past, the present, the future. It honored my ancestors and the struggles they had in regaining their independence, their sovereignty, and restoring the kingdom. And your book captured the work we did here in Hawaii to that end, in restoring this nation. And for the most part, I have been invisible amongst my people. It afforded me the opportunity to hear their words, to live their dreams, and to understand where they were coming from. Prior to me, there has been other leaders who tried to do their very best to establish the Kingdom of Hawai'i. And for whatever reason, they were not successful. Myself, I find that what sets me apart from all of them is my sacred genealogy. My genealogy goes back to 316 AD. I come from a long line of high chiefs, kings. And I believe, and so did my parents and my Ohana family, that only the sacred child can restore the nation. And I believe that. And so, in my invisibility, I don't think I was ignored for the most part, because I really didn't come out and say, here I am, I'm the king, listen to me. That wasn't me. I came with humility, with love, and a willingness to hear what my people had to say. And to that end, I became better in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, to really move this nation forward. Because I heard them. I listened to them. I see them. In them I see me. Because they are a reflection of me as I am a reflection of them. So invisibility had its purpose. And I thank you again, Alie, for writing the book, for capturing the essence of what we are doing here, and calling attention to the world that the kingdom is restored. And how is it restored? Through me. When I accepted the responsibility to be king, at that moment, the kingdom was and is restored. And I am the king. And the kingdom is called No Keakua Keopuni o Hawaii. To you, Lord, the kingdom of Hawaii. Aupuni o Hawaii. The kingdom of Hawaii.
Your Majesty, thank you so much for this response. It touched me so deeply. I have felt that you are the King of Hawaii, and that was why I wrote my book, is because it is my desire to see you go from invisible to visible, because I believe that's exactly what we need right now on this planet, is the kingdom of Aloha, the kingdom of Hawaii, to once again
be visible. So thank you so much for that response. I really enjoyed writing the book. There were so many different topics that I touched upon, and all of them were fascinating. One of my most favorite parts of the book was how I opened it and how I closed it, actually. And the way that I wrote was invisible, now visible, the king and the kingdom, Ku'ikamana Hawai'i ne. And I feel that this speaks about you and your story on so many levels. Would you share what this means to you?
Oh, yes. Ku'ikamana means we are rising. We are rising from the depth of despair, from the depth of agony, from the depth of suffering. We are rising. We are uniting. Our eyes are fixated on the light. Our heart, our mannerism, the spirit of Aloha envelops us. We are uniting. Ku'ikamana. We're coming out from the depths of the ocean. We're reaching for the sky. We are a nation. We are Hawaii. We are Kanaka Maoli. And that's what Ku'ikamana is to me. And all people are welcome. People who love freedom. People who love Hawaii. People who want to make a difference in their lives and make a difference in our government, the Kingdom of Hawai'i. No kia kua kia puni o Hawaii. Ku'ikamana.
That is so inspiring. Thank you, Your Majesty. I just love the chant, which you've titled Ku'ikamana as well. And tell me about the chant.
Oh, yes. What a privilege. The chant was actually done in a garage. Malia, who is a kumu, a kahu in her own right, wrote the chant for the kingdom. And my mother, my sisters, and Lanny and the family is doing the chanting. No one else, just the family and Malia. And we are chanting Ku'ikamana. And the beauty of it is that it just came upon us like magic, if you will. It was so inspiring, and it became the chant for the kingdom. Ku'ikamana, we are rising. All islands are rising. Every island throughout the Hawaii is rising. Ku'ikamana.
Your Majesty, that was so inspiring, and I have never known how the chant came about. It's on YouTube, and it's getting a lot of activity. People are hearing this chant for the first time. And on the YouTube channel is a beautiful picture, which is the same picture that is on your book cover. And it makes me think, just as you explained, how the land is coming back from the depths of the ocean, but I'm kind of feeling like it's a spiritual rebirth. That's what that picture represents to me, a spiritual rebirth of the land as well as the people.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. There's many ways one can interpret a picture, but I know that all interpretation comes from within the na'au, from within your innermost self. And the Hawaiians call it huna, sacred. So I understand what you're saying. I thank you for this interview that we're having today. And there's so much I'd like to talk about and express. But I want to hit the key points here as to what the Kingdom of Hawaii represents. And in doing so, it'll also give the world a better understanding of what Aloha is.
Thank
For
you,
example,
Your Majesty.
You're welcome. For example, I want to talk about the Peace Center and why the Peace Center is important for us here in Hawaii and the rest of the world. When we talk about peace, it opens the door to so many different emotions, and people will come up with philosophical understanding as to what they think peace is all about. And none of them would be incorrect. They'd all be right. Because in their heart, that's what they believe peace to be. But to me, peace comes from within. It starts with self. And getting rid of the conflicts within self. And in controlling self, understanding self, we command peace within our souls. And when we have peace, we can understand the natural world. So, the Kingdom of Hawaii does not have the definitive solution to resolve the conflicts and hostilities around our planet. However, I believe that we can bring about a different understanding based on Hawaiian ideology and philosophy, and that the ancient Hawaiians, our ancestors, believe in the principle of ho'oponopono. And what does ho'oponopono mean? It means that the people can get together, talk story, as we say, and resolve the problems on their own and walk away. But the key here is to forget the problems, is to let it go. Once you talk about it, you hug or shake hands or whatever you do, that's absolute forgiveness. You never bring it up again. You never remember it. You move on. And you carry your life forward. In my vision, I saw the creation of a true peace center that stands firmly for light, respect, and love for all creation that was built here in Hawaiian Islands. In that vision, I created Halau Ha'umaluhia Maloha, House of Enlightenment and Peace. The Peace Center united all nations to stand in solidarity as one voice and one people to protect the earth, land, and sea from unprecedented destruction that would otherwise change the landscape of our planet forevermore and collaterally destroy nations and human family. And what I want to do is bring conflict resolutionists, practitioners, if you will, ho'oponopono practitioners, that I will gather from throughout Hawaii to bring solutions to protect this planet and the human family. And at this Peace Center, all leaders from all nations of the world will be able to speak truly from their heart without judgment, to explore and work in harmony to establish world peace and live in harmony with each other. That's the goal. That's the mission of the Peace Center. And I believe that vision is attainable and can happen. Today, you see the world in chaos. There's talk of wars. Many Christian fundamentalists are believing in the Armageddon scenario. People are scared and fearful of different groups, the world is upside down. And I believe a handful of people are creating this chaos to keep people afraid to move forward. And the absence of good leadership and being afraid, people will take matters in their own hands. But instead of creating something that's good, they'll create more chaos and more problems. And that is what I don't want to see. I believe we as human beings can make a difference. We can stand together, and we can develop and create peaceful solutions rather than talk about war and destruction. And again, it starts with us. And as us come together, we protect our planet. We protect our natural resources, our water, our lands that will grow our food. We protect our children. We provide them good education. We provide good and healthy ways of eating so that people can be healthier, not be cancer-ridden or diabetics or have any other health issues. These are the mission of the Peace Center and the vision I saw.
Your Majesty, that is just awe-inspiring, and I'm just concur with this is exactly what our world needs. And thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you so very much. Now, earlier, we talked about Aloha Aina and what does it mean. Well, if I may talk about it for a moment, I want to say that Aloha Aina literally means love of the land. That's what it means. We can also say to malama the land, to work with the land. We can say to malama each other, to work in harmony with one another. It involves simply respect for the land and for ourselves as stewards of this land. As an indigenous man, I understand the land, from the mountains to the sea, and I believe all indigenous people have that gift. They love and respect the land, because we know that the land is not owned by anyone. The land is given to us by Akua, by God, our Creator. But man has taken upon themselves to say, I'm the dominant, all-powerful owner. And when man did that, man corrupted the land. And the land went foul. And now the land is so polluted all around the world that it's difficult to grow healthy crops. And the absence of growing healthy crops, corporations like Monsanto comes in with their chemicals and their way of trying to produce more food by changing the DNA of these foods. People are eating this unhealthy foods and are getting sicker. And then pharmaceuticals make a tremendous amount of money on the sickness and miseries of people and their ill health. To me, corporations are working in harmony with each other to enrich each other and are not there for and behalf of the people. That is my belief. So Aloha Aina means love of the land and of past, present, and future. That's what Aloha Aina is to me. And, as I speak, so many things flood my mind as to what
Aloha Aina is. Aloha Aina believes the solution to the problem of dependency is self-reliance. Aloha Aina believes the best way for Hawaii to mitigate the harm that would follow from being cut off from the lifeline of imported goods is to stop being so dependent on imported goods, to become essentially self-reliant. Aloha Aina believes that Hawaii's health problems must be addressed and resolved, and that a large part of that solution is through a healthy diet and healthy lifestyles. Aloha Aina believes that Hawaii's housing and high cost of living, the high cost of living crisis, is a reflection of a dysfunctional economic system that must be resolved. These are just some of the things that comes to my mind. Aloha Aina believes the best way to provide Hawaii's people with a bright and meaningful future is for Hawaii to become inherently self-reliant. Not only would this put us out of danger, but the process of achieving self-reliance would serve to build a much stronger, more productive and caring community. I believe that as we become a model for this, that the rest of the world can step in and be part of this miraculous movement and adopt the Aloha Aina project and take it back to their country and recreate it there. And I believe that their people will become healthier. You know, Ali, I think about ways and means to help people, to protect the lands, the animals on the lands, and the animals in the sea. And how we as man have forgotten that we are stewards of these lands. We are here to protect these lands. We are here to preserve these lands for our children and their children that come after them. But instead, we are destroying ourselves by not protecting our lands, from the mountains to the sea. The Aloha Aina project, I believe, will restore the confidence so that we can live in harmony with nature, the natural world, and the human family.